And it's back.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Yes! Oh, we are back. Missed your 5 o'clock shout-out pace. Holy shit, we're back and alive. What is up, everyone? What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in. You are here. And we are with you, the Pacific Experience Podcast. Yep, it's us. As you can see, Mr. Austin. I have arisen like Lazarus from the 2-week grave. I'm back to impart my wisdom beyond death, which is not much. There's not anything cool going on back there. No. Nope. No. Aliens are real, though. Saw them. Yeah, really? You got a story? God's just one of us. Oh, he's just a regular dude floating around. Just one of us. So, yeah. We're debunking the God theory right at the start. This episode's going to be heavy. We're getting deep. No, you guys know what's up. Thank you. Again, this is episode 23. Holy moly, we made it this far. We have, man. It's episode 23. You've done a lot of pushing. Your backpack's been heavy. You've been putting everybody... It's been all right. Yeah. It's been okay. How's your back feeling from that, carrying the team? Oh, carrying the team? It's actually quite light. I'm ready for the load. Yes. You said it. Oh, shit. Woo. Okay, well, we're fired up. We are fired up. It is, what, October? Yeah, dude, what happened to the year? Yeah, it went by very fast. Halloween's coming up. Fall is around. It's exciting. When did you start this? That's what I'm thinking is... I started it. I started doing a couple things, but you came in episode 4. I started this early April. Damn. Yeah, man. So it's been half a year. That's crazy. Yeah. 2018 is coming to a close. Yes, it is. And it's honestly, it's the listeners out there that are making it worth it. You know, we got all sorts of feed hits and downloads and everything. Speaking of, you can get, it's updated now, the website, that is, PacXpodcast.com. Very simple. You can go there and you can click the link from your phone, either on Podbean or YouTube or Google Podcast. And then from mobile, you can even go look at platforms and search and download any of the platforms that are available in the App Store and get going. And do it. Yeah. Technology makes it so easy to learn so many cool things. Yeah, especially while you're saving time. You know, when you're cleaning up your house, you know, you're on your daily commute, your drive, you know, you're working out, whatever the hell it is, or if you're just sitting around at home doing absolutely nothing. Honestly, listen to us while you're working out. Nothing gets me more jacked than hearing my own voice and just being embarrassed, and it just makes me put on more of a bravado. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't tried that yet, but... Yeah, for my own insecurities. I mean, I've tried doing it with a couple other things, but... Why don't people listen to more podcasts? Get intelligent and get buff. Buff both your brain and your body, bro. Save time. Time is so freaking important. I've turned my car into a freaking library. When I'm driving, listening to audio stuff. Like books? Yeah. There you go. Man, hell yeah. It's good. It's fun. I don't retain anything I hear, but it's a nice sound in the background. I'm just kidding. The words are just like, wah, 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 wah. Like, what is that, Peanuts? The Peanuts? Exactly. Wah, 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 wah. While nothing is going on. 6 hours later. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, dude, what's up, dude? I saw you post some shit on Instagram. Yes. Where the fuck did you go? What's going on? I've been absent for about 2-3 weeks. So I had a wedding, my brother's wedding. My brother got married. Congratulations. Yeah, congrats, Tanner. 3rd time I've ever seen you cry in your life besides football. So those were because of football. Yeah, he's a very close to the chest type of person in terms of emotions. But yeah, it was great. Down in Bend. Yeah. Drank a lot. It was fun. There was one night, I got blacked out. I don't remember the end of the night. We went to Taco Bell. I didn't get any Taco Bell, apparently. Nobody got me any Taco Bell.
Oh, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah, I was a little,
if someone
I was a
didn't,
little upset.
Ooh,
I was a little upset. I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm sitting there like, I'm messed up. I'm passed out in the front seat. Nobody's going to buy me a chalupa.
I'm sorry, man. I feel bad for you, bro.
I
would have gotten you a chalupa.
I don't even care if I choke on half of it. At least I got half of it in my stomach. Yeah. Wedding was great, though. I had a great time. So I was there for a week in Bend. Bend is beautiful. Central Oregon, desert, arid, just gorgeous country. We went and hiked out at Smith Rock.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, just giant rocks. Huge. People were climbing them.
Smith Rock, huh?
Yeah, Smith Rock State Park.
Nice.
Yeah. Dude, only crazy white people that look at giant rocks and go, yeah, I'm gonna climb up that. Climbing is intense.
Yeah, well, of course. What else are you gonna do? Stare at it?
It's upsetting.
Yeah. What's upsetting, Austin?
Maybe that I can't do it. I'm jealous of how. Yeah, I don't know what is upsetting about it. I look at people climbing these rocks and I get envious, and maybe it's my insecurities. Either way, it was a good time. Yeah, Bend's a beautiful place. If you've never been to Bend, Oregon, go down there. There's skiing, there's hiking, there's climbing. Like I said, it's weird. Do it, though. It's intense.
Bend is fucking beautiful, man. I love Bend. I've gone there at least once a year the last 5 years now.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's amazing, man. Except here's the thing. I've only been there during the winter. Never even been there. I'm sorry, other way around. Summer. Never been there in the winter. I would love to see it, though, because it seems definitely like a place that has quite the winter. I mean, from like the drive that you do through the pass.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And you look at how many outdoor retailers there are out there, or outdoor sports stores. I mean, there's so much. You cannot
when you go and buy your skis, you make sure you buy both of them, not just one.
It's just
Classic
like, you need
Dumb and
skis,
Dumber
you need a roof rack. You need a roof rack, you need a Subaru. Like, It's just all packed into one.
Yeah, dude. I feel like I'm seeing such a trend going on up here in the PNW, at least, of something just like that, man. Like, of course it's stereotypical, but I went to Bellingham and I started cracking up. I started counting how many Subarus there were, specifically Outbacks, and with the ski rack, and I was cracking up. I was counting it left and right. I got to at least 30.
Well, I mean, I think also you get to a point where people recognize what they can do out here, and that's what they spend most of their money doing.
Yeah.
So
drive 3 hours in any direction, man, and you have something. Not even that, but 3 hours in any direction can get you to any type of area. We were talking about that on the last episode.
I mean, I think so. We have winter season coming up, right?
Yeah.
People
I'm excited.
Gonna shred the gnar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so skiing and snowboarding. That's expensive to do. I mean, whether you're buying a day pass.
That's why I don't do it.
But people do, and they love it because we have access to it, and there's something about it. So I think that's one thing that shows what's great about this place is that almost every single season there's things to do. You have ski and snowboard season. Then come in that season too, you can go hiking, snowshoeing. You can do all these awesome things. And then comes springtime, and they're still hiking. People go surfing. People go skimboarding. People go to the beach. And then summertime is
I haven't been skimboarding in forever, man.
Oh,
it's good shit.
I cranked my neck so hard skimboarding.
Did you?
Yeah, the classic check this out. Just throw your skimboard down, you hop on it, and then it just slides out from under your feet. And I straight went down, and I hit my shoulder, and it's like my head went.
Check this out.
Look at me, mom, sick. Yeah, just totally yanked my neck, just like, and then I couldn't turn it for like a whole week and a half. Couldn't turn it to the left. Just totally fucked my neck up. I was like, never skimboarding again.
It could have been,
I took all my monster stickers off it. Just broke my skimboard. I was like, fuck this.
I'm fucking done with this shit.
It's like the time I had a Razor scooter for a little bit. We built a rail, and we thought, because we were trying to grind on it, and it's wood, so it's not going to grind. So instead of putting wax, we put Crisco on it, and I fucked myself up on that too.
Of course,
just straight buttered it. Just scooter out from beneath my feet. Just whammed my back on it. I was like 12 years old. I was like,
Dude, I've had all sorts of accidents like that, man. I remember I was practicing with a skateboard on the porch in front of my dad's house in Oregon, and he was like, "You need to go practice in the grass," and I'm like, "What the fuck? practice in the fucking
You didn't know
grass.
anything,
What are you?
old man,
What are you
yeah.
talking about, Dad? Little did I know he could actually shred, and just didn't want to watch. Bother dealing with me learning a board at the time. I was like, just go practice in the grass, so he didn't have to worry about me. Well, I was, of course, me being me. I was like, fuck that. Tried a trick immediately, fell on my ass, hit my head. This board went flying into the screen door. Immediately, I hear my dad doesn't even miss a beat and just, God damn it, boy! I told you to practice on the goddamn grass. Oh, it was so fucking funny, man. I was laughing and he came out. We actually both started laughing.
There you go.
Good moment.
Yeah, dude. Your body as a kid goes through some really rough things. I think of all the times that I've on a bicycle, and you just slam the brakes hard, and your body goes forward, and you rack your nuts on the frame of that bike. I wouldn't be surprised if my sperm aren't viable if they're all just like dead and retarded, just in my nutsack. I can't have kids because of how many times I racked my nuts on my bike frame. But you just put up with it as a kid. You just walk it off.
Well, because you can too, dude. My daughter, who's almost 3. She is indestructible, dude. Not sometimes, all the time. She'll go right there in that corner right there. She'll hit her fucking head, and she acts like it's nothing. And I'm like, how do you not feel that? Dude, she dislocated her arm yesterday. Actually, yesterday, right before I was about to leave for work. I took her to the doctor, and they had to pop it back into place.
How'd you do that?
She was playing around with her sister. They're like, oh, this is common. We get a couple of these a week.
Oh my God, it's common?
That's what they said. They said it usually happens when a parent is holding like the kid's arm, and the kid like will throw a fit and then just drop, like try to like let go.
That makes sense.
So they
ragdoll it?
Yes, they go ragdoll. So they go limp, and that's when that happens. Well, so anyways, that happened to Emery, my daughter, not that way, but. So take her back to the doctor.
My wife is not an abuser.
Right. Correct. Anyway, so take her to the doctor. She's being a champ, dude. She's holding like a 45-degree angle. I'm like, I'm in the car. I'm freaking out. She's fine. She's like kind of, as long as she doesn't have to use it, she's fine. I'm in the car like tearing up, overbuying. She's like swimming in French fries in the back seat when I was done. We're all done. I was like, yeah, get you French fries. You're gonna get ice cream. She was like, dude, she was loopy. She was happy. Anyways, the funny part is when I took her there, got it going. They popped it back into place. It was sad. She screamed. She went through it. Then they were like, just should be good in 2 minutes. Sure as hell, 2 minutes later, she's picking up a toy with her arm. I was like, oh my God.
Damn.
So we start walking out in the lobby, and she's literally walking like this, like trucking along all proud like a cartoon, just like pumping your fist, like you're going on a power walk.
Yeah.
And she's walking, and she announces in front of the entire lobby room, and she goes, I'm good. And just keeps walking. Dude, the whole lobby room cracked up. It was fucking hilarious. I was like, that's my girl. That's right.
Fuck yeah.
I went and hit the button, the handicapped
door open thing?
Yeah, the door open button. And then so the door opened for her, and she just kept going with it like it was meant to happen. She had attitude. Good experience,
man. That
man.
came out of your good nut, man. Good for you.
Yeah. Kids are tough. Kids' bodies have to be tough, man. They go through a lot.
That's fucking awesome. Testament. There's been a lot going on. I'm not gonna lie. So leading up to this, in the past 2 weeks, there's been a lot of shit in the world.
Yeah, there has been. There has been. I don't even know what to talk about, man. We could talk about a lot of shit.
I'll just talk about something I'm always passionate about is the environment. But so you saw the Paris Accord.
So that's actually a great thing to bring up. Did you hear about the E.P.A. warning the White House and the White House ignoring it?
Well, I think that's pretty typical.
Yeah.
I think a big stigma of this time is well, yeah, like whether it's fake news, but it's almost like, well, that's going to be your problem, which is frustrating because it's like, you know what? Doesn't matter because you having that ideal, and it doesn't matter if you're left or right. I think it's a large part of a lot of things that have happened over the past 20, 30 years. I mean, we've been alive for, like under 30 years, but we've seen a lot of cultural change. And I think a lot of that resistance comes with like, well, that's now your problem and you got to deal with it, but it's a collective effort. But so,
do you think the majority of people are on board with the global, with the climate change, global
I would
warming?
think to some degree they are. I would think there's a large majority of people that understand that the climate is changing and it is in part due to us. Regardless of how you want to see it or believe it or like what you believe is actually going on, I think we all understand that there is an effect of us on this planet, effect of our consumption. That's a big thing is what people don't realize is that a lot of the like carbon emissions, like we're one of the biggest polluters of carbon emissions.
Yeah, we are.
And I mean, dude, we're here in Washington State where
We're
we have
actually
terrible fucking
top 3 worst contributors of we're the second. I don't know who's the first.
Yeah, I think it's like there's China, there's us, and there's somebody else. It might be India.
I think it is. Yeah, it's either China or India.
But I think what's hard is like people want to deny or be like, oh well, like I don't see it. It's like, dude, look how many cars are on the roadway. Look how many people drive themselves to work. I mean, just that fact alone.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all up to us.
A lot of people see more cars than they do trees, man. I mean, we don't hear up here in the PNW.
All right.
But more people are going to see that within their lifetime.
Well, I think it's here because we have like we have construction all the time in Washington State. It's nonstop, and the I-5 traffic is fucking real.
Our traffic doubles, and we had 1 lane.
Yeah, it's terrible. Sitting in that traffic, no wonder people get road rage and have guns and shoot people. Like it's suicidal. But the whole point is that I think. At what point? So I should backtrack. So what was it? UN, United Nations, did a whole climate sort of like study, and they came and said that within 2040, that there would be a huge shift if we didn't start fixing things now, and I think
what's 2040.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's serious about that is that like here we are, we're gonna be in our 40s. But it's like, we're going to be alive for that. And I think it's a very realistic thing to look at, and it's something that everybody needs to take into account in terms of like what they use. It can't just be a select group of people. It's got to be a collective effort, and that's what I was reading a bunch of articles, and a lot of these scientists and people were saying like, dude, we have like the silver bullets. Like we know what we need to do, and it just needs to start happening. A lot of it, I think, comes down to laziness. I think especially it's not. I don't care to talk about fucking politics, but I think a lot of this political White House going on right now is business based. So it makes sense for them to not have these restrictions, especially environmental restrictions on big businesses. And it's not saying just regarding oil, but like everything else. I mean, plastic, CO2 emissions, what you do with your what is it called? It's like BOD. It's like bioorganic something. We have it. So in the brewery I work with, when we dump our wastewater, we actually have to treat our wastewater so it's a certain pH, and so it doesn't have certain because we use chemicals, we use different things, but we have to make sure that before we dump it into the main sewer system, it meets the city requirements of what is an acceptable BOD. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, you get fined up the ass for it,
right?
Because it's harmful. And so, at what point whether it's this administration or do we, and especially, I will say this on this podcast, which I preach, look to register to vote, please. Voting is a civic duty. No matter what you believe on whether you think your vote counts, it does fucking count. I think that's a very bad ideal to have, just like when Joe Rogan talks about people making excuses in their life. You thinking your vote doesn't count, so therefore you're like, well, I'm not going to vote because it doesn't matter. No, it does fucking matter. And when people like you think that, and then it multiplies by millions, it matters a fuck ton. Because then the people that want to vote against what you're doing just for their own self-interest, you're doubly getting fucked, and you're not having your voice heard.
Not voting is letting the bad guys take control, folks. Really, because these laws that are there to allow us to vote for whatever these changes might be, those laws were put there trying to prevent something in the future that was unpredictable. And what was unpredictable is now known, and that is bad people. It's not that the majority of people are bad; it's that a small amount of bad people have too much power. And the amount of power that they've gained has been through a lack of care and focus on voting from the public, from the people. And you know what? Honestly, it's not your fault. You've been suppressed to not care. You've been channeled, you've been engineered to not care and to be more concerned about your Instagram or your Facebook or other things going on or just what's going on in the newsreel that morning. And you've also been comfortable to think that everything that you should know about will be informed to you through your daily scrolls and your daily tune-ins when you actually have to dive in and do the research yourself. But that's why we're here, the Pacific Experience motherfucking podcast. We're here to inform you of what's going on. And what Austin and I are telling you right now is that shit is not good out there. So spread the fucking word. And when I say spread the word, tell fucking people What's going on?
Dude,
Make
it's so
climate change,
easy.
Well aware of. Let it be known. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's so easy with technology to vote. It takes literally 30 seconds. Did it today.
Yeah,
checked
man.
up and just had to redo my address.
I see it everywhere too. They ask you at the post office. They ask you when you're renewing your license.
Things. When you're connected on all the social media platforms, you've probably been seen to vote. So many advertisements to go register to vote. Fucking do it. I think, and I would say I'm not a huge, like, I wouldn't say I'm not patriotic. We live in one of the greatest countries in the world, the United States of America. We have
damn right we do. Pew pew pew.
But we have a great, rights. We have our voices to be heard. Whether you believe it or not, there are some countries where you're not allowed to speak your opinion or you get your head chopped off. That's
right.
Dead fucking serious.
There's countries where if you want to talk shit amongst your president or amongst the ways, you're fucking done.
Yeah, you get thrown in jail for life.
Yeah.
I think too, especially regardless of what I believe happened in past wars, like, dude, people give their fucking lives for us to have these rights.
That's exactly
give
the point
their
too,
life
man.
for you to vote and for you to sit there stoned on your couch just watching. Like, dude, you watch conspiracy theory things, that's great. But for you to sit there and be like, yeah, so my vote doesn't matter, so I'm going to just rip my bull and not vote because I'm just helping the man. It's like, no, you're fucking your own future.
You are.
Quite literally, you're creating their own demise.
And it truly is a slap in the face to all the blood that's been shed over the right to vote.
Oh, fuck yeah. No matter what your position is on it, dude, that was somebody that they were like, this is my job and I might die at it, I'll accept it. That's admirable. Like, I do not have that in my body or in my soul in this lifetime. Not at all.
You know it's an interesting documentary that I started watching actually on Netflix, and I've already been watching the Roman Empire one where they talk about they have one on Julius Caesar. All sorts of good shit. Well, this other one is called like Empire Games, I think, and it's just a documentary recapping empires and republics and world leaders and guys that rewrite history because they are the victor. You know what I mean? And certain things like that. And it's really interesting to think. I just finished the one with Julius Caesar, and when he was assassinated.
Yeah, he got stabbed a bunch, right?
23 fucking times, and by the Senate. And this assassination group, which is the Senate, his enemy.
Yeah.
It was led by it was a conspiracy. His son. His son was Brutus.
Power.
Correct, and he trusted him. He was one of two people he trusted, because when you're a Roman emperor or whatever the hell, you cannot trust anyone.
You assume everybody's trying to take your power.
Exactly. So, but what was interesting was that Rome had been run by a republic for many, many years, and it used to be run in a monarch fashion, hundreds of years before Caesar was doing what he was doing. Well, when Caesar did the expansion, through his election, he altered the rules to when all of a sudden he is now essentially king of Rome. He was not labeled king, but he was technically the first emperor of Rome, because he changed it into, no, Rome should be run in a monarch fashion, with all the power going to one man, and the next person in charge will be his ascendant, the throne.
Yeah.
Right? And so, he was going to pass off to Brutus, when Brutus was actually the one that, and the last words that Julius Caesar said was, you too, my boy. Which is what he said to him, as Brutus apparently gave the 23rd stab to the chest and finished him off. But the point is that what happened is, when Julius Caesar did that, he won the hearts of the people, of lower class. He fixed a lot of things. He made life better for the Romans, healthier, just fruitful, right? And so they were for Julius Caesar, and they were not for the Senate. Which is why the Senate saw him as a threat and removed him from power. Now, what happened was, though, what the Senate was planning to happen didn't happen. The people absolutely rioted. Everything collapsed.
Yeah, Rome burned to the ground.
Rome burned to the ground. From there going forward, it continued what Caesar introduced, which was an emperor ruling it for anywhere from 5 to 30 to 50 years. And actually, his son, his real son, who he had with the Queen of Egypt, became king for when he was 17, and he was murdered 2 weeks after he became king. He was king for 2 weeks when he turned 17, and then he was murdered. That was Julius Caesar's son.
Isn't that such a fucked up... Can you imagine? Maybe he wanted it or not, but then you're just immediately a target, and you have no clue how to play that game, and a bunch of older dudes just set up for you to get killed.
And you're just sitting there eating your strawberries, having your fucking you know,
exactly.
You're
watching
being blown off with with the fucking leaves and all that shit.
Yeah,
your royalty, and
some
you're
dude
just
comes
like, I'm
with
gonna
a
die.
spear and just stabs you through the chest.
Every corner you take, could be death.
Yeah,
you're literally just dude. That's got to be the equivalent of literally like living on Green Mile. You know what I mean? Just like, except not. You go for, it's royalty, but then you're actually locked
it's all
up
just
knowing you're going to the
changed
electric
now.
chair.
It's interesting. It sounds
the character
weird.
gets assassinated now instead of you physically when it comes to politics.
It's interesting now because it has some correlation, but I just like the quote. So there's a Lil Dicky song with Snoop Dogg, which Lil Dicky's like a comedic rapper, but in this song, I forget the song name. So if somebody can figure it out, reference it. We're not trying to take away from Lil Dicky or royalties or whatever. But so in this verse, Snoop Dogg's sort of talking about how Lil Dicky grew up, and Lil Dicky's telling him how he grew up, and Snoop Dogg goes like, "Oh, well, so you never grew up like in hardships, or you never grew up in a hard life?" And Lil Dicky goes like, "Well, I wouldn't say that. I grew up in a different type of trap." And I think that's really interesting.
Yeah,
because
very interesting.
I think that applies to a lot of people. I mean, we live in a culture now, especially where gender, race, all these things are at the forefront.
A lot of wealthy people are the ones who commit suicide. What I mean is a lot of suicides out there are done by people who are actually very wealthy.
We know that personally.
Yeah.
I mean, October 12th is coming up, so we know that personally.
We absolutely do.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Peter
Amen.
Haas. Love you, man.
Love you, brother!
But, yeah, so I think that's really interesting. It really is scary in this world to do that, and I think it makes it more prevalent to me as I go through my life and build my career to just be so steadfast, but just like, you have to take what's yours and what you believe is yours, and not give a fuck about what other people say or what to do, because they're not going to give it to you. Nobody is. I mean, look at business in the current state. I mean, all these. It sounds cliche to say, but like rich old people that quite literally are trying to garner as much as they can before they are either legally put away or until they run their course. I mean, people are literally disregarding things about this environment and this earth and willing to put it into another stage where it kills us. Like the Black Plague killed a third of the fucking planet.
A third.
Yeah, that's called cleansing, son. Like that's what happens. And so here we are, I think, again, where they just want to spout their nonsense and bullshit. And I'll say that. I boldly will say that. Like, it's stupid for us to not believe that like things are warming up. Like hunters are noticing that game in the past 2 to 3 years has predators and prey have moved and changed direction much quicker. Seasons are happening quicker. Like all these things are changing, and for people to sit there that make billions of dollars, whatever they're in, but they're disregarding environmental sort of like statutes and regulations just so they can save money, and to be like, oh yeah, it's not true. It's like, you realize that all those millions of dollars by 2040, if Yosemite blows up, that super volcano, if that thing blows up and all these other earthquakes start happening, it just demolishes who we are as humans, and there's only a few of us left. It doesn't matter what you fucking garnered and gained. It's going to be gone. It's not going to
because
mean
money
anything.
Money doesn't matter, man. If a tsunami is coming at your ass and you wave a dollar bill at it, it doesn't give a flying fuck.
Dude.
And that's the thing is these guys that you're talking about, these politicians up at the top, you guys, we are on a ship in the middle of the ocean, and that is Earth. And you might have your prison built on this ship. You might have your system there to when your feet are scrubbed and everything is made and whatever the fuck it may be. It's a fucking cruise ship to you, right? But what you are refusing to at least understand or address, or at least let the public know that you are addressing, if you are addressing it, is that your ship is fucking sinking. And listen, we might be the ones drowning first, but even though you're at the top deck, eventually it's going to come to you too. And just like that fucking movie, I don't know, called Titanic, you're going to be floating in the fucking water, and I'm going to be on the motherfucking door, bitch.
There's not room for both of us, and I know how to scrap some. My fingernails is dirty.
That's right. I've been in the mud and out, and I'm ready to take you out. I'm ready to rock out, crock out, my lock out, crock out, get the fuck out, my cock out.
Whoa. But I think it's a big thing to why people should realize that it's good to be a nice person. It's good to realize that there's community involved and you should be involved. Don't be selfish.
Don't be
Maybe
selfish.
That's the way to put it. Your life is not the only important thing. life is rude and mean to everyone. That's why life is fair. Don't ever think that your problems are worth more than somebody else's, because let me tell you, you don't know somebody else's life, so you have no fucking
Damn right.
clue.
Well said.
So keep it in mind, folks. Anyways, Earth is on a crash course, and we're trying to save it. Smart people out there, you have a right to do something about it. So take a look into it. Vote. Go fucking vote. But what else?
What else? Well, we're actually at that moment now of a break.
Ooh.
We're at that 30-minute mark.
I dig it.
So we're actually going to be taking a break. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 23. Check us out at PacXpodcast.com. More importantly, hit us up on the fucking Instagram because it's popping at PacX Pod. Right? Awesome.
Yes.
PacX Pod.
On the Insta, please.
On the Insta. This is episode 23. I'm your host, Lloyd Smith, with
Austin. Back again.
and we will be tuning out for the break. We will see you soon. You could be. What is up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. Episode 23. We're back from the break. This is the Pacific Experience Podcast. I'm Lloyd Smith.
I'm Austin Davis.
And we're with you, and we are doing well. You are with us, and we are with you, and that's what matters. Anyways, come together right now. Austin, let's. Why don't you tell them what you're drinking?
I'm drinking the champagne of beers. So in previous podcasts, I've drank a menagerie of things.
You have,
because I do. I love beer. Beer's my life. I meant to do beer. But what I noticed is that it's as much fun as it is to get drunk and do a podcast. It really fucks up your dialect and your dialogue, and you just sound a little bit dumb by the end of it.
Yeah.
So. Little High Life is a nice, easy drinking beer. It's like 4.5%, but it's good. It's what I would like to drink and talk, and I'm still level-headed.
Dude, this is episode 23. I'm pretty sure episode 5 was last time I had an IPA while doing this, because I agree. It just made me just...
Yeah.
It just...
You just get all sorts of wire. You just think everything that passes through your brain.
I never realized what IPAs did to me until I drank one every podcast for just 5 episodes, and then was like, yeah, no.
the filter guy in your brain just goes on break, and your brain's just like, fuck it, say it, just everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, throw it out there,
right.
do it, Lloyd.
Yeah, you can't,
do it.
Well, it's not even that. It's just just IPA'd, man. You're IPA'd out. Anyways, so I am drinking an IPA.
There we go.
Actually,
he's back on it.
I'm drinking the.
Refer back to what was it, episode 2 of Johnny Boy to give you beer descriptions of what IPAs are.
Yeah, totally, exactly. It's actually an interview with Johnny Boy there in the. There's a video on YouTube. Check it out. John definitely knows what he's talking about. And by that, I mean he has no clue what he's talking about. So, pretty funny. You should check it out. Anyways, what's going on in this world, man? There's so much shit.
What do you have to talk about? I've been talking about all the topics, and I know you said you have something.
We always do. I mean,
we sort of touched on it.
I mean, we don't really have an agenda, or we don't really have a scheme that we go
very
by.
True.
But what I've noticed is that every time we do a little bit of the P&W at the beginning, and then when we come back from the break, we get weird. And we talk about real shit, and then we get all into it. We get emotional.
I like getting weird with you.
This guy here. Yeah, dude. I like getting weird.
So
I like getting weird.
Earlier, I got interested, and you sort of talked about it. Was it Caesar?
Yeah, man.
Getting stabbed and killed by his own people for his ideals.
Well, let's just say on the Flipboard app that I brought up.
Flipboard, is that like Pinterest?
Yeah, I think. I don't know what Pinterest is, so my wife uses Pinterest. I know that.
I was about to say it's for. Oh, never mind. I'll hold that in my brain. The filter caught it. Pulled it back and just beat it down.
Is this some like hookup site. I'm like, yeah, my wife uses it. Like,
No. I was going to say something that sounded very stereotypical, but basically people go on Pinterest to get ideas, for like, this would
Okay,
be
that's what
cutesy to do
yes.
during the holiday seasons. Or,
Yeah.
oh my God, look at this handmade quilt.
she doesn't really use it. She used it for
I
the
made
weddings.
sculptures out of my own earwax that I sell for $500 a piece.
That's
and somebody
fucking disgusting.
Yeah, dude, people do lots of weird things.
People are weird. My dog is even looking at us like we're weird right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so under the Flipboard, I have a Flipboard. You can follow me at LloydSmith697C. At LloydSmith697C. Why is it 697C? It's a certain reason. It's a certain code. If you listen to every episode, you will understand the code. Just kidding. Don't waste your time. Actually, do waste your time. Listen to all the episodes while you're driving, while you're doing anything.
Figure it out.
Yeah, you got it. Anyways, it is called America's Caesar. And I actually put this one together during the election, before he was even elected. And I haven't
Trump?
really, yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't really touched back to it since. However, I wanted to read something here. Give me a minute here. Okay.
Waiting in anticipation. That's my heavy breathing.
Okay.
Smooth transition. There you go.
Dude, that hat.
Well, yeah.
Oh, your mic. Hold on.
Oh, I got excited. I get excited about hear about
You
Caesar.
just tried to do something with my hand. That got weird.
Did it though, or did you slightly enjoy it?
Anyways, what I have here. First, I don't. Anyways, yeah, E.P.A. It's like Trailblazer or something. It's a good beer. Austin's shitting right now. Dude, that hat.
The weird zone.
I'm gonna post that picture of that hat.
Yeah, did you send that to him?
I did.
Swildebeest?
Yeah,
You
I did. So Austin's wearing a hat, and another person that's been on this episode on this show is Swildebeest. He's been on here many times, actually. Probably the person who's been on here the most, other than Austin. Probably tied up there with Johnny Boy. And we call him Swill, of course, because his name is Swildebeest. That's actually his first name is Swilda, and his last name is Beast. And his parents decided to name his first name Swilda. Austin has a hat that says Swill on it.
I'm honestly, so when I was in Bend, I saw this, and drunkenly, I immediately thought of Aaron, and I was just like, oh, dude, Swill, yes. And the person was like, do you want this hat? I was like, yeah, I absolutely want this hat. And they're like, sure. Funny thing is, so this brewery made this beer. This beer made people sick.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it made
That
made people sick, whether it was something like in the beer, whatever it was, but it made people throw up.
That's fucked.
But yeah.
Throw up.
So I'm going to wear this hat until Swildebeest is on a podcast, and then I'll bestow it upon his beautiful, dreaded head, and he can decide to wear it or just keep it in his house. I don't care.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
I've sweated a lot in it, so he better fucking appreciate it.
It's been all around the P&W gathering sweat molecules.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Anyways, so I found it.
You're talking about footboard
Yeah.
before I started pissing myself.
You're out front?
I am out front. Yeah, that was earlier. I was not trying
that
to wake
text sent to me an
wake
hour
that
ago.
children.
See, that's how bad I am with texting, guys. I just read that text
It's
from
okay.
Austin. I'm like, you're right here, man.
Yeah, I am right here.
Okay, got the.
How tech savvy are you? Suck at this.
Yeah, doing terrible. I'm like knocking shit over. Just hit my knee again on something. Fucking. Anyways.
Let's go leave a bruise tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, podcasting's dangerous, man.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it's dangerous job. So I'm gonna read this. This is by Jeff Greenfield. I added this 809 days ago. Was that before the election? 809
so.
days ago, so 360 episodes over 2 years ago.
Yeah, over 2 years ago. Almost
So, yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, so right around.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's
so
on Flipboard.
yeah,
Okay.
Flipboard, check it out. Detached from history and fueled by fear, his convention speech was utterly unlike anything we've heard in American politics. It was a speech perfectly suited to the nominee.
Are you going to read the whole thing, or are you going to paraphrase it? So this is talking about Trump's inaugural speech when he gets...
Yeah, I'm going to read the whole thing 'cause it's pretty short.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see.
Show me.
Okay. It was then exactly what we would have expected from this most unexpected of candidates. Most American presidential nominees, indeed, most convention speakers, pay homage to outsized figures of the nation's past, even some from the other side of the spectrum. House Speaker Paul Ryan, as did countless others in Cleveland, paid homage to Ronald Reagan. Vice presidential nominee Mike Pence told the assembled Republicans that the heroes of my youth were President John F. Kennedy and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Ronald Reagan himself, back in 1980, quoted Franklin D. Roosevelt. In past conventions, the Founding Fathers were invoked, or inspirational party leaders of the past, or some link to the heritage of party or country. In Donald Trump, in his speech, there was no thread of any kind linking him to the past American greats, no sense that he is following any tradition. Indeed, in one of the best received lines of the speech, he told us of our rigged system. Quote, I can alone fix it, unquote. Fix it with his own party's leadership in Congress, or with an aroused populace? No. Quote, I alone can fix it, unquote. In so many other ways, Trump presented himself as a man alone, imbued with the power to do what no other person or institution can do. Consider how he described his visits to the laid-off factory workers and the communities crushed by our horrible and unfair trade deals. Here, let me rewind. Quote, the laid-off factory workers and the communities crushed by our horrible and unfair trade deals. These are the forgotten men and women of our country, people who work hard but no longer have a voice. I am your voice, unquote. In this declaration, repeated at the end of the speech, Trump defined himself as a bedrock figure in American culture, the figure who faces danger alone, who follows his own code of conduct. He is a Gary Cooper standing alone against the Miller Gang in Hadelville. Am I saying that right? Hadelville? Oh, I bet I'm butchering it. Anyways, to be more precise and more contemporary, he is the man who uses his great wealth to protect the powerless from evil. He's Bruce Wayne as a Batman, Tony Stark as Iron Man. In this persona, there is no room for a note of good humor of the kind of self-depreciation we've seen in other nominees. Mike Pence noted in introducing himself to the crowd that Trump is a man known for having a large personality, a colorful style, and lots of charisma. I think he was just looking for some balance on the ticket. Bill Clinton in 1992 mocked his own disastrous, wandering 1988 nominating speech by saying he'd run for president. Quote, to finish the speech I began 4 years ago, unquote. Nor is there any room for a cautionary note about the limits of presidential power. John Kennedy's 1961 inaugural address, for instance, ends by saying of his, all this will be not finished in the 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration. What does Trump say? The crime and violence that today afflicts our nation will soon come to an end. On the economy, I will outline reforms to millions of new jobs and trillions in new wealth that can be used to rebuild America. On January 21st of 2017, the day after I take the oath of office, Americans will finally wake up in the country where the laws of the United States are enforced. I am going to bring our jobs back to Ohio and to America, and I am not going to let companies move to other countries, firing their employees along the way without consequences. Now, we're getting to my point. So, bear with me.
Eating a whole foot-long hoagie and we're 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah. In this speech, we have finally seen the answer to the perplexing question of just what political philosophy Donald Trump embraces. It is Caesarism, belief in a leader of great strength, who by force of personality imposes order on a land plagued by danger. If you want to know why Trump laid such emphasis on law and order, using Richard Nixon's 1968 rhetoric in a country where violent crime is at a 40-year low, it is because nations fall under the sway of a Caesar only when they are engulfed by fear. And the subtext of this acceptance speech was, be afraid, be very afraid. It is impossible to imagine anyone else giving an acceptance speech so disconnected from anything in the American political tradition. Whether voters see that departure as a cause for celebration or worry may help decide what happens in November.
Heh. So,
now, what do you think?
Well, so
what was it about?
yeah. So first, it's not at all saying this is my observation. It seemed very for Trump, which is, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not for Trump.
It was a we can agree
very
that it was
biased
definitely a bias.
towards
Yes.
yeah.
A
But I
bias
get the main idea behind it, where they're talking about a leader that is like not only bold, but they're trying to paint a picture as it is, and they're saying believe in me. I just think that what's hard to see is that now here we are, and I think a lot of
here we are,
yeah,
2 years later, and
yeah,
it's fun to look at
a
this
lot
one.
of what he said hasn't followed through in terms of, like he wants to bring jobs back to America. Well, a lot of his company is outsourced, like a lot of the stuff that he does.
We're 809 days later, and he also said it would take more than 1,000 days.
Yeah, I'm not saying not give him a chance. I just think that a lot of he ultimately, I don't think he knows what he's doing. Like he may be the
Right.
drive
Well,
and have the passion, but he has no execution, and that's what I feel about it. It is the change we need, though. That's for sure. Regardless if it was Trump or Hillary Clinton, I don't think Clinton would have been any better than Trump. And people that want to fucking argue that,
I agree.
It's like you're not seeing the whole picture.
Yeah.
This was supposed to happen. I'm a big person in metaphysical, but like this whole change was supposed to happen. This disruption was supposed to happen. This bringing together of extreme sides and making everybody pay the fuck attention to what's going on was supposed to happen in our lifetime. It's supposed to be here. So I guess in that aspect, here we are, the people, now we have a chance to say what we want, what we don't want. And it really is like it's a war. It straight up is a war. I mean, the fact now that like politics is a very heated thing. But what you can say is that 5-6 years ago, people weren't that interested in politics.
Yeah, you're
or
right.
People our age. I can at least say that from my age.
Yeah,
I was not.
You're right.
Here I am now.
You're
We're
right.
engulfed
People
in
our age. Yeah, we're
Now
not interested, and now we're absolutely engulfed in it.
Yeah,
Swimming in it, man.
So it absolutely, I think, parts of it have come true in terms of like what you're talking about in Caesar and how the people really like.
That was my
him.
takeaway from it. I haven't seen many people make that connection.
Yeah,
at least publicly.
Oh,
so
dude.
That's what caught my eye, and at least at the time. And listen, I kept this down 809 days ago. I have not looked at it since, and I wanted to bring it back up after watching this fucking 2 different documentaries about Caesar.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, huh. And so now I wanted
to
go back to this
That's
and,
a good
and
correlation.
read it for the first time on the podcast without reading, as you could tell, without reading it in 809 days.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the connection?
Oh, dude, I think it's true for sure. Whether you want to say like
Caesar didn't know what he was doing, but he was great at
he has
fucking
the same
battle.
momentum. And I think what's funny is like, so we live in a very liberal state, right? We live in a state that is very much so against Trump, and very much so, I think, sort of blindly towards Hillary.
Yeah, I unfortunately can agree.
But here's the thing: is that what you're talking about, you're getting people involved. No matter what, he's getting people involved in their fucking lives, and maybe that's the biggest lesson: is that he is here to serve us, to pay the fuck attention to what's going on. Like we're talking about, like go out and vote. Like maybe this is the biggest lesson. It's like go out and pay attention to the people that you're voting for everything. Like be smart about it. It's your civic duty. It's in terms of being a good citizen. It's in terms of being a good human to understand things. Otherwise, you're just going to be the person that eats McDonald's every day and is overweight and fat and rides a wheelchair around at the grocery store and works a minimum wage job for 60 years of your life, and you pay bills, live and die. Like that's what happens to you when you don't
that's the
give
prison
a
system,
shit.
man.
Yep.
That's the American. If you want to let the system tell you how to live, that is the end result.
And I can definitely say,
that's
too,
the end result.
like, it's not due to Trump, but definitely watching things progress and my own experiences in life. I live life on my terms. I shit you not. If I were to die tomorrow, past 3 years of my life, I've chased the things I wanted to do, and I have very few regrets. And so if I were to die tomorrow, I would be pretty content. I don't want to, but I would be pretty content. Sure. And that's because I looked at the world around me and I was like, wow, I don't know how much time I have here. I don't know what's going to be dictated or what's going to happen, but I'm not going to let somebody else do it. Not at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's brought about, is that this is what's going on, and you need to pay the fuck attention, and you need to do things on your own terms. Because I think he sort of embodies that too. Like, he definitely has his own agenda. He does things on his own terms.
He does things on his own.
Yeah.
He empowers fear. He says he's the one that can do it. He does it with aggression, and he's skilled.
But
he's extremely skilled at what.
But like
he does.
to Caesar, it's rallying. Like, everybody's rallying,
absolutely.
dude.
That's
Left
the whole
and
point,
right,
man.
and everybody's up here in arms, fighting and rallying.
They're a lot alike.
That's crazy.
The only difference is
that's crazy.
The analogy between it is Caesar's ability in combat. His gift in combat is Donald Trump's gift with money.
Yeah.
And not just money, not money in earning it. Money as in the politics of money. When it comes to negotiations, when it comes to, he's willing to take the trial and error. He's willing to lose millions of dollars to learn and to reinvest and to stay profitable. You know what I mean? Ride that roller coaster. Caesar was willing to have thousands of men die in order for victory and glory and domination of taking over other places.
Yeah.
Of expansion, of Roman expansion. So it's the same thing, that you become talented. I don't even want to call it talented, but you become possessed by something that is so, because, I mean, think about it, dude. Once you get more land, more blood, what do you want? More land, more blood. Once you get more money, what do you want? More money. And so these two men are very good at doing that and getting people to do it. Yeah, having people earn money for him, having people die for him. And I mean by that, Trump and Caesar. So I find a huge connection by it, and because of that, I'm fascinated, because I think Caesar was a fucking badass. I mean, also too, back then, in order to be at a high power of rank, it wasn't by how many votes necessarily you had, or it wasn't by politics. It was straight up by respect, by your skill in battle, by your willingness and ability to fucking kill people by the sword.
Yeah.
In battle, in fucking combat.
And that didn't have to come down to physical ability. I mean, that came down to, like, your cunning. And that's what he was really good at, because Caesar was pretty short. Right?
Yeah, he was actually 5'4".
Yeah, he's 5'4", not super built, but he was smart at what he did.
Speaking of, I have a interesting little book called Strange History. It's got some pretty cool facts in it. I don't know. I thought I'd share a couple stories. Find it funny. I don't know. Here's one thing. Did you know? You go, Austin. Why don't you read the back there? Why don't you take the...
Oh, is the back... Oh. Julius Caesar was afraid of cats. This is the very first one.
Dude, I don't blame him. Cats are fucking scary, dude. Especially, like, back then. Could you imagine, like, a wild cat?
I'm already scared of cats. Household cats. They do not give a fuck about you. No.
They don't.
We live in Washington State with cougars.
Yeah,
Those
man.
are terrifying. I'd rather fight a bear than fight a cougar. You know why? Because bears are just raw aggression. If it's going to try and kill you...
dogs.
Yeah. Dude, cats, no way, man. Big cats,
fuck
no
felines,
way.
man. That's what I'm saying. I don't blame him.
Conniving little shits.
Of course
yeah,
he's afraid
he has
of
got
cats.
a right. Yeah, because they're sleuthy. They're stealthy.
Man.
They are just deceiving. They love you, and then they might try and tear your throat out the next.
Exactly. And they find hunting for... They're one of the only
It's for
creatures out there
pleasure.
that will hunt for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading the other day, because my mom's sister is a big cat lover, and she's always like, oh yeah, cat's the best way to go. Like, cats are responsible for 80% of bird deaths in the United States.
Really?
I won't even say in the United States, but just domestic bird deaths just for fun. So all these common birds that are putting out going endangered, cats are just killing them for fun.
Dude, speaking of, I saw a video the other day of on this front porch, and it was this cat running out, and a fucking cougar just ran up and snatched the fucking cat, full grown house cat. Maybe a little bit too. Maybe that was too much, but I was like, oh shit,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
I've never seen something like that. I've never heard of
Felines
something
are
like that.
terrifying.
It's like a feline getting a feline. Think about it, dude. That cat probably ran that yard for like
Oh,
12
yeah,
years,
dude.
just taking a straw outside.
We
and
talked
then
about it a
big
couple
kitty
episodes
comes up
ago,
and
but
gets
dude,
ya.
like,
I love that shit, dude. Wildlife. Do you have any fucking wildlife stories?
oh, tell them
Fucking
about it.
running into fucking.
Oh, I
nature?
thank God I
You
don't.
You got any?
No,
Do you know?
fuck no.
Well,
Thank God I
Do you
don't.
know of any?
I know of one. I was working at REI, and this gentleman told me about it. So, when I was working at REI, we have quite a few people at REI that do like backcountry rescue, and they work search and rescue. They do ranger stuff.
Yeah.
And that's because REI does a good job about like during the summer season, you can work like a good shift and good hours, and then they allow you to go 3 or 4 months and do another job, and you can still come back and have your job. So we have quite a few people that do wildland firefighting, do park ranger stuff, etc. But I had a customer come in, and this customer was getting new boots, but he was a backcountry rescue ranger. I mean, that's what he did. Like, he was a ranger,
That's
but he
badass.
specialized in finding lost hikers. And so they'd gotten this distress beacon from somebody's GPS. And so you can, there's on most GPSs, there's like 3 different distress beacons. There's one that's basically saying like, I'm lost, but I'm like, okay, and I have food.
Yeah.
There's one that's saying like, I'm hurt, but I'm safe. And then there's like the emergency one where it's like, somebody needs to find me or I'm going to die. So they got the third one. This guy goes out and, he finds this dude, and it's like it's not a campsite. It's not even on a trail. It's on just
Damn.
some fucking hillside, some brushy hillside. And he was combing it for a while, and he finally found this dude. And this guy was totally torn up, and a cougar had attacked him while he's out on the backside in the Olympic National Park. And
Damn.
he killed it with his hunting knife, but he
Holy
got
shit.
tore the fuck up. So he's covered head to toe in lacerations. He's been bleeding
Yeah.
heavily, but he basically just cut all of his clothing up that he could to like stop all the bleeding that he
Yeah.
could try, and then just hit his GPS and was just barely alive.
Holy
And they got him out.
shit.
But dude, this thing mauled the fuck out of him.
Dude,
it,
I can.
it jumped him from behind, and I mean, you think about if you have a cat. When your cat gets feisty and likes to play,
Yeah.
how it kicks with its back legs and it'll
Right.
scratch you.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that, but it's like a bear claw.
Exactly.
And you know these things are meant to kill you.
It's
So like
the
they're
same way that your cute kitty's
they-
hiding around the trash
they-
can, like
oh,
pouncing on
God,
you
dude.
and like hunting on you, and you're just on the computer and you find it adorable. Imagine that, but you know,
yeah,
times,
it's like 180
times 100.
pounds,
Yeah.
and all it wants to do is eat your brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, these things are meant to.
Eat you
typically,
alive,
they
man.
jump
like
you
to
from
eat
the
you
back.
alive.
Yeah, they typically jump you from the back, and they try to go for your neck or for your head and break your neck. But the entire time too, they're kicking you. So those claws are kicking at your body, and here we are. We're soft skinned, dude. We have no fur. We have got no tough hide. Like
Yeah.
you're just getting
Yeah.
tore open. But so this dude had his backpack on, which saved him because it came up towards his neck. So when it jumped on the back of him, it latched on to his like front chest, and it was kicking at the back of him, his lower back. But it couldn't like fully bite his neck and his head because his backpack and like the sleeping pad and everything was covering it. And he just started stabbing it as much as he could, and basically like warrior spirit, he just fought it off, but he was almost
Yeah,
dead.
man.
So
That's bizarre.
This guy found him, and he had to carry him a little bit, but he got him to a clearing, and they had to fly him out and get him all stitched up. And he was telling me that was the nuttiest thing that he's ever come across. He's like, typically when we find people, like when they give the third emergency beacon, we find them dead. And he's like, that's pretty much what happens. Is you find people dead. I
That's
went
fucking
back and got
crazy.
gear, and I have old. Well, he's retired. He was like
How many
Army
people-
drill sergeant, but
I mean,
he
the
said he found
ultimate
3
question-
dead people in Olympic
3?
National Park this year.
This in 1 year alone,
Yeah.
working that job.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible.
Well, because
That's
so,
sad.
So,
That's
well,
crazy.
What's tough is because there's like
We
there's
live in
typical
Jurassic
there's
fucking Park,
typical
dude.
there's typical trails, and then there's like people will do trails, but where you need maps, compasses, like you actually need to navigate. But people don't account for like the random things that may occur or the
Right.
like, you know, like the wild card. They don't plan for that. And dude,
You don't.
there's people
And
that
it's always that unplanned fucking thing, man. Like my moment of almost fucking drowning in the fucking lake from simply just fucking around on a kayak. Had already been fucking around on it all day. It was only like 20 feet away from shore.
yeah,
But yeah,
dude, it's nutty. But yeah, he told me like I think that's one thing too why I enjoy about being in nature is like it's humbling but it's exposing too. Like
It is exposing.
That's something I think about when I'm out there. Like I enjoy hiking, but trust me, like when I'm going up switchbacks or I'm going out on trails, I'm definitely like looking into the trees. Like it gets this primal thing out to make sure I'm watching out to see if I see an animal, whoever I'm with, I'm like, hey, there's something up there, and like we got to decide: do you want to keep going or you want to turn around?
Right. Do you want to go into that creature's
Yeah.
area? Yeah, man.
Into the danger zone.
I'm gonna fly into the danger
But yeah,
zone.
so Caesar, you're right to be afraid of cats because cats are fucking crazy.
Cats are fucking terrifying, man. For sure. Fuck cats. They're scary as shit. But felines are cool. I want to hear more stories. Let us know what's going on out there. What stories do you have or that do you know of that's going on in the PNW as far as interactions with wildlife? I feel like we live in a fucking Jurassic Park up here. And, you know, Austin, you said it so right. It's the wild card. You know, I've repeated this on this podcast before, but when I was in Wenatchee with my brother, that moment, man, of realizing like how far away we were, and I was like, dude, we had alcohol and we had guns, and I looked at my brother, and I was like,
Great
hey,
combo.
exactly, you know, I looked at my brother, I was like, hey man, be extra careful, because I was like, because if something happens, we're at least a 3-hour drive from a fucking hospital,
Yeah.
with no cell phone, like, you know what I mean, like if a cutting wood,
Yeah.
like, you know, so. Be fucking careful, and you never know. We did run into there were cougar tracks. I told you that story.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, cougar tracks the next day. Obviously, there was a reason for the cougar to not fucking bug us because we saw and heard of nothing after that. He came and sniffed us out and was like, you know, something. Probably smelled fucking
Smelled
John's
like
farts or something. It was like,
Bud
fuck
and
this.
MGD.
Right. Anyways, it is late. It's very late, but it is October. We're getting into that cold season. It's exciting. Let us know some stories you have out there. This is episode motherfucking 23. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can go to PacXpodcast.com to check out the latest and the greatest coming from the PacX
Check it
Podcast.
out. Download it. Do it. Please do it.
Give us a thumbs up everywhere, anywhere. YouTube, Podbean. Give us downloads. Download that stuff. Don't listen to it on your data. Download it. Have it ready to go. A-OK. Listen to it during your commute. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's great. Expands the mind. It's better than listening to your stupid Cardi B or whatever everybody's listening to this bullshit music.
Fuck yeah, all that dumb shit.
All we know is Ted Nugent, son.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're going off the charts here. Thank you for tuning in. Austin, you got anything? Anything else?
No, I'm just glad I'm alive and back here.
Fuck yeah, man.
Next podcast.
Will we be here next week?
Yeah,
Fuck
sure.
yeah. All right, everyone. We'll see you next week for episode 24. Adios.
Sugar